Hello and welcome to Clamp, the Creating, Living, and Making podcast. I'm your host, Morley Kurt, and joining me as always are the illustrious Adam Mackey.
Hello.
And Grant Alexander.
Hello.
That was a long pause. Maybe there's a delay. Anyways, what's in your guys' clamps this week? What about you, Grant?
So this week I finally got monetized on YouTube, which is a pretty awesome thing. There was a cheers there. That's basically all I've been up to this week. I am building some display stands for some model airplanes for a friend of mine, but they'll just basically be like a piece of wood with a dowel sticking out of them so that he can photograph them at different heights. So I'm basically making 5 stands with like 15 different height dowels so they can try and be attacking each other. But it's not it's like, I don't know, it's literally a piece of wood with a dowel sticking out of it. So it's not
the
very
sexiest project.
No, so I'm not filming it. I don't think I'll even take pictures of it. But that's what I've been working on.
Nice. Oh, and before none of us seem productive, it has only been 5 days since the last recording.
Yeah.
Well, when you put it as 5, now I feel really bad. I should have been way more productive with 5 days. It felt like 3 days.
I worked for 4 of them. So,
well, on that topic, what did you get up to other than work this week, Adam?
Okay, so I actually took a week off of making because I haven't had time really, but yeah, been waiting on deliveries. I just got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 deliveries in the in the mail, and I'm waiting on 2 more things. So I got my laptop and everything. I'm just waiting on my camera and lens, but I got SD card and all that stuff to go with the camera, which is annoying.
Yeah,
but,
I was just gonna say it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I got the tripod, the SD card, the spare battery, but I don't have the camera. But the camera should be coming today via FedEx, and then I think the lens is still in Sydney somewhere, which is even more annoying. But so I've been waiting on those. Thinking about how I want to actually, do I want to film it and put it on Instagram opening it? And then Grant maybe suggested I could film it and put it on Patreon, which I think I might do that. So that'll give our Patreon something to see other than listening to the before show and after show.
Which is great, and it's on its own, by the way.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And then, so I was talking to my wife yesterday, and I'm thinking about, I say expanding my business, but I guess more of a starting it. I'm thinking about actually starting to get into the hobby of making furniture and selling it, like full on like rustic dining tables and selling them and all, try and actually make a business out of this whole thing other than just YouTube.
Cool.
Which, is very exciting, but a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Do you guys have an active Facebook marketplace for that kind of thing, or a Craigslist, or I don't know what Australia uses?
There's 20 Facebook marketplaces around me. There's a central one for the whole coast that I live on, and then one for every suburb, and yeah. But
cool. Well, good luck.
Yeah. Thank you.
So you think you'd kind of focus on rustic tables, or you're just kind of spitballing?
It's whatever I feel like. It's hard. I was kind of thinking at first. I was thinking that I would come up with a design, make one, sell it, then make another one, sell it. But then I was like, I kind of want to make videos of it as well. So if I could just make the same thing over and over, I can't keep making videos. Mm. But then also I also want to try different things too. So I just don't want to just repeat the process constantly. But yeah, it's just a little bit nerve-wracking because wood's so expensive here. So it's a bit of an expense to get into making something and then it doesn't sell.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
And then I was thinking this morning, do I go buy a welder so I can do metal legs? And I don't know.
If I was getting into furniture making, I would. I feel like being able to integrate welded metal and custom metal shapes really, really ups your game.
Yeah. And you can make you can make more like slimline legs. You know, like if you made a square out of 2x4s on each end of the table, it's not going to be real sturdy. But if you do it out of metal,
Yeah.
it's going to be sturdy as. And
Yeah,
people like that design. So
look at Ben Ueda's massive table that he just put out. Like, welding with a MIG welder on some just some like steel bar, and you got yourself a $6,000 table, baby.
That's crazy. Those legs.
Yeah, they look so cool. I thought he was actually making. What did I think he was making? It looked like a bridge because it was upside down and it was on his Instagram.
It did.
Are you making a bridge for your property?
I'm gonna be honest here, guys. I don't follow him. How do you even spell his last name? I follow Jesse, but I don't follow like the bigger brother that's apparently like way bigger. But
is it U? I think it's UYEDA, maybe.
Yeah. It was his like a couple projects ago. Made like this massive custom dining table.
Is it Homemade Modern or something?
Yeah, Homemade Modern. Okay.
Yeah, but if you search Ben Ueda, it'll come up.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just never followed him for some reason.
Anyways, how dare you? Nice, that's exciting.
I'm sure we all have some of it. Yeah, thank you. I'm getting excited about it.
Nice. Well, what have I been up to this week, you ask? This morning. Okay, well, on to our topic then. I just put out the 3D printer enclosure / standing desk video this morning. And that was kind of the bulk of my last 5 days, was getting that finished and doing voiceover and everything else. So that feels very good. It's always kind of a weird feeling when you put out a video and then you're like, oh, now I can do other stuff. So went on a nice like walk with Eden this morning, which kind of felt like a bit of a reset. Kind of feel like I need that after I finish a big project like that. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's I'm standing at it right now, and it's pretty perfect for what I need.
I think it's bananas.
I got the banana knobs on it that I mostly kept secret throughout the process. I put on our like Discord like a little teaser, and like no one thought it had anything to do with the enclosure.
Yeah, I had no clue.
It's pretty random.
Yeah, definitely. Like understandable that no one guessed it, but again, like very ergonomic doorknobs. If I ever open like a banana stand, like in Arrested Development, I'm definitely gonna have like banana doorknobs.
So, do you guys watch Ozark?
I do, yeah.
I have.
Okay. I just want them to open up a banana stand so bad and hide their money in the banana stand. And
oh my God, that'd be great.
It would be a great like callback because they're like Netflix owns the rights now to Arrested Development.
Oh yeah, wow. You're right.
Oh yeah, so they could totally the same actor.
And they could just like, there's always money in the banana stand. And there would just be a great like callback. Because I feel like he plays almost the same character.
I always have thought that.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. Like he's like the kind of like the dad trying to keep the family together in both shows.
And one's just dark and the other's a comedy. Like it's the same character. And it's just like the writer is just writing it a different way.
And
I think I need to watch Ozark again.
He has like zero emotional intelligence in both shows. I just love the scenes when like his wife's upset and he just like he's like, how can we fix this? You're like, oh man. It's funny, like I haven't probably watched Ozark in like 2 months, and I feel like after every episode I'm like, oof, that was heavy but good. But then in hindsight I'm like, oh, it's such a great show. But after every episode it leaves me feeling a little like floored and slightly depressed.
I finished it last night. We marathoned 2 episodes to finish it last night, and it was
so as an end of season 3.
Yeah, obviously, like there's there's going to be a season 4 if you know.
No, I was just making sure because I'm on season 3 right now, and I didn't know if there was more.
Not yet, no.
Well, my wife and I were talking about that the other day, yesterday. I wonder what's going to happen with all these like movies and TV shows and stuff because nothing's been getting filmed. There's
a big movie theater pretty close to me, and there's been a giant poster on it for like 4 months. It says Mulan coming out March 11th, which makes me sad because I saw that trailer in theaters and that looks so good. And they're waiting for theaters to reopen to put that out. So there's certain movies. There's certain.
It's interesting they've done that. Yeah.
Well, I was talking to my friend Ryan, who's kind of like film is his thing. He was kind of explaining that, whereas like there's certain movies where they'll go right to streaming because they're low budget, but Mulan was such an expensive movie that they're depending on the blockbuster weekends to make a profit. Like they can't just release it streaming. They won't make enough money.
That really surprises me though, because there was a movie they put out recently on streaming and it made like more than it would have at box office.
Yeah, and maybe that's a culture thing. Maybe they're just nervous that like it's not a sure thing.
Well,
like
it's also
I got it
during the pandemic. You would have made more money if you put out something.
Yeah, because everyone's home and looking. Yeah.
Right, and looking for something new, and they have extra money because they're not commuting. Maybe they've also lost their job. There's a possibility they have less money, but
yeah.
Sorry,
taking it back to your enclosure, unless you got more to say. I had a few questions about it.
Shoot.
So, I was going to ask why you used India ink instead of just painting it, but then when I saw that back panel, oh my god!
Yeah, doesn't it look sick?
The grain just popped so well. It looks so nice.
Yeah,
but is that why, or?
I think it was because, I mean, I'd seen like Chris Salamone doing a video. I think that's where I like heard about it, like from Four Eyes Furniture.
Yeah.
And I didn't want like I knew I wanted to build it out of 2x4s. Like I'd considered using like more finished pine, but I was like, it's not really like the 2x4s work well and it makes it pretty accessible. And I didn't want to like try to finish the 2x4s. Like I wanted to keep them rough. So in my head, having the jet black with a rough finish contrasted with like the very finished plywood was like a cool look. That's kind of what I was going for. And then like, I mean, if you're painting rough wood, it doesn't look very nice unless you do like a ton of coats, in my opinion.
Yeah. I really like how like the India ink brings out the grain. It actually really made me want to go buy some and give it a go because like it looks so good.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's forgiving too. Like I was kind of worried when I was making it because I don't know if you noticed in the video, but like I stain one side, then I flip it, and I didn't realize, at least on the first batch, that some of it spilled over, and I got like a bit of blotching where it had ran.
Oh,
so, like,
okay. No,
kind of no matter how much
I noticed you turned it, but I didn't. Yeah.
No matter how much I rubbed it, like there was still a bit of blotching, but on the final piece, it's like invisible. There's enough going on that you don't see it at all. So it's pretty.
I thought that was really cool. Like when you drill the hole when you put the screw in, and you just use the India ink and it just makes it invisible. Like that's crazy.
It's nice. Like, good. I mean, I guess you could do that with paint as well. But especially as well, since it's I kept all of the black pieces like rough, then you don't have to worry about like trying to like sand it and refinish and everything else.
Yeah.
It's nice to have like the aesthetic be forgiving, and it all kind of worked pretty well together. Yeah. So I definitely recommend picking some up. It's cheap and it's pretty easy.
Yeah. What was the other thing? Oh yeah. So like you got the piano hinges and you said in the video that they'll like cheap, but how come you decided to cut them into like smaller hinges instead of just having a piano hinge like the entire length?
You know, I think I thought about that, but not until after I had made it.
Yeah.
I actually don't think I had enough. Was for one. Like I bought a 6 foot length, and then I was just like, I'll cut it into pieces. And I was thinking about putting another one on the bigger doors, but it didn't really matter. Like the doors are so light that it's mostly just functional.
It's more looks than
It's a little silly actually having it in 2 pieces on the top because the hinges are like really close together. But I don't know. You live and you learn.
Yeah. What was the other thing? The double-sided tape idea I thought was really cool with the slides.
Yeah, not my idea. Definitely.
I never would have thought of that.
I like to make stuff because that's what he did on his enclosure, and I've seen that a bunch of YouTubers.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Same with drawer fronts. It works really well though. Like I feel it's funny. I feel like I've seen enough YouTubers do drawer slides at this point that like I knew how to do it, even though I never had before.
I feel like every YouTuber now uses the Craig jig to do drawer slides.
Like not pocket holes, something else.
Yeah, Craig.
It's like a Craig. Yeah, Craig makes a jig that like holds it in place for you and lines it up properly and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'm just very anal about parallel and measuring, so I just had that going for me.
Speaking of bananas, did you know that bananas are straight?
Like originally?
Yeah, and they pay people to bend them.
Is that a fact you tell your son?
No, this is this, you know, like the drop bear thing.
Yeah.
This is a thing in Australia. It's like the like backpackers that come and pick fruit and stuff. Like, yeah, you like get a straight banana. Oh, someone forgot to bend this one.
That's good.
That's funny.
Just a one massive Aussie inside joke.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm happy to have this thing done in the video. Well, it's been done for a little while, but have the video done, which makes it feel a little more done. And, on to the next one.
A few more Instagram posts, and then it's really done. And then all it is a throwback Thursday a year from now.
Well, I don't know. I find it hard to like keep going back to the same project days later. Like, I have no problems doing a few promo posts the day of, but after that, I'm kind of like, I want to do something else now.
I hear you. I just know I've seen a lot of the people that are successful. That's what they do.
Yeah, for sure. And I probably will.
Well, for bigger builds, like I get, like you got a small little thing, and you're like, oh, I made this leather wallet. Well, there's only so much you can say about it. But a big build that you had like a 20-minute video on.
Yeah, no. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Anyways.
What are we going to talk about this week?
So this week, I wanted to talk about a topic we've had on our list for a little while. And that is about some of our like inspirations, video influences, and just kind of how we are all in the process of developing our styles. Because I know in 3 different countries, 3 different ages, I know we all come from a very specific place. And I think it's always interesting to figure out what some of people's inspirations are. And I was kind of thinking about this today where, like, I think if I were to think of my making style specifically, that is really hard to think of a specific influences for that, because our community is so like interconnected that I feel like I have like a million influences on the maker parts. So I was kind of more thinking about the non-maker aspects of our styles, like the filmography, the storytelling, things like that. Then maybe things that like kind of got us into making.
What made us want to start YouTube channels to begin with?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So influences.
Yeah, I got nothing.
All right, nice podcast, guys.
Yeah, that was a good one. So I'll go with like what influenced me to start a podcast, or not a podcast, a YouTube channel. For me, I was watching. So when my son was born, I started watching a lot more YouTube videos because I'd get stuck like holding him while he was sleeping in my arms, and you got to do something. Because just sitting there is just not enough. Like you can't.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, so I'd watch YouTube videos, and I was watching. At the time, I was just like really obsessed with getting a like cottage or a cabin in the woods kind of thing. So I was watching a lot of this channel called My Self-Reliance, because this guy went out in the wilderness and by himself built a cabin and filmed himself building it. And the thing that
I still have yet to watch a video of his, but his Instagram is fantastic. Like,
oh, really?
His stuff is awesome, but I just haven't seen one of his full videos.
Like, I would just watch. I wouldn't like his videos. Now that I look back at them, they're like hour-long videos of very slow making, which is like relaxing. And if you want to like just put something on and relax to it, it's great for that. But if you're like, I want to see someone do some action, there's no sped up stuff. There's no, it's just like it's slow and
sounds perfect for cradling a baby.
Right. And now that I've moved on from that, I no longer have time to spend an hour watching a video like that. But his
so that's a good like background video.
Yeah, his time lapse video of him making the cabin, which is like his first video that blew up. It's worth watching. Watching him like that's the video that got me going. And I watched a whole bunch of other people that did like these backcountry camping things, and it made me want to do that. Like, that's what I wanted to like show people, camping and having fun outdoors. So I got a GoPro and then decided that I'd just make stuff instead, because it's way easier to walk to the garage to do something for an hour than to go somewhere and try and
go to the
do
woods.
something. Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
But that's who influenced
I have seen
me.
the cabin one.
Yeah, that's who influenced me into getting into YouTube. So why don't we start with that for everyone, and then maybe from there we can talk a little more about what influenced me to become a better YouTuber.
Okay.
Or a better filmmaker.
I think for me it was like actually like the bigger channels now. I mean, I've always sort of I haven't always watched YouTube because it wasn't around when I was young, but unlike Morley. No, I used to watch like a lot of gaming, like YouTube, watch people play Minecraft and all that sort of stuff. And then I've always like had the making in my sort of like background and stuff. Like I've always been interested in it. And then I found like I like to make stuff and all that. And then just watching them, I was like, I just really wanted to start a YouTube channel and show my stuff. And like same sort of reason as Bob, like having a YouTube channel sort of gives you a reason to make. Because you're like, well, I need to film something and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, as cliche as it sounds, I think like I like to make stuff, make something and all that. They sort of really pushed me into actually starting the channel. But,
quick point of order. Adam, is your Zencaster name is broke because you just spent all your money on camera and computer equipment? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, even before them, I suppose I always wanted to make a YouTube channel, like watching YouTubers. And I mean, it kind of sounds a bit selfish, but like at the time watching these like big like gaming YouTubers, I'm like, you can really make money off this. Like, I suppose that was part of it, like the money side of it. And then once I got into the making part, it was less about the money and more just about the adventure and enjoying like the whole thing. So, yeah.
I mean, well, as Grant and Adam mentioned, like, I guess I grew up with YouTube, although I wouldn't say I was raised on it. I just started watching it in my like preteen years.
Seriously?
Preteen, wow.
Yeah, 12.
We were literally joking about it, but
YouTube wasn't around until I was like 18. Older.
Yeah, let's do the math real quick. I was born in 97. So
what?
I was 12.
God.
I know you're 23, but I didn't think. Yeah, wow.
So YouTube, when I was 12, when I was 12, it was 2009, and YouTube was at least a few years old by then.
So it was founded in 2005.
Yeah. So I remember like E-Bombs World to a certain extent. But YouTube,
that was popular when I was in college.
I'd say I've probably been watching YouTube for like not until I was at least 20, probably 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's similar to me. Like 10 years ago, I was 13. So early.
Well, one of the first channels that I started watching, which I still watch, just turned 10 years old. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's probably not many channels that are above 10 years old because that means they started right at the beginning and they've been successful since the very beginning.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, there wasn't as many channels back then. Like,
so I joined YouTube in 2006.
Wow.
If you look on my page, so my channel is from 2006. So you just said there's not that many that's been around. And I've got a 14-year-old channel.
But how long have you been uploading though? That's the thing.
I was uploading videos back then that for myself, not for trying to actually make a YouTube. Because back then, like YouTube wasn't making a channel, it wasn't like refined like it was today.
This was I got to turn my brightness down. Hang on. This was the first channel I ever made. Coasty POV. It has one video, and my intention was to do like vlogging while driving my car,
like rants.
No, not rants. Just like like just a normal like everyday vlogger, but while driving a car.
Oh, okay. So see, that's a good segue. So I never really like followed any everyday vloggers. So when I was like, I guess the first channels I started getting like consistently into were like Freddie W and Corridor Digital. So they do a lot of like action VFX style stuff. And then they also started doing vlog stuff, which at the time I didn't really think I knew what it was, but I was just like, oh, like they have such interesting lives. They like are living and working in this like loft space. They got one wheels, making like VFX, and it just seemed very fun. And then also the other part of it was watching like a lot of parkour YouTube channels like Storer and Farang, and this is getting real deep, but the Galician Urban Project, which is a Spanish parkour channel. Those are really the channels that I like first started watching consistently. Oh, Smosh, I guess.
We all know you secretly watch Roman Atwood.
I actually don't know what that is.
Oh, really?
No.
He's like one of the biggest, like, he used to be a daily vlogger and then like lost track, but he used to be like one of the biggest daily vloggers. Like, what's his name?
The guy from New York.
Casey Neistat.
Yeah.
No. Well, yeah, similar. No, who's the one that got in trouble for the Japanese forest thing?
Logan Paul.
Yeah, like all those people. Yeah, like he was like one of those.
Yeah, never got into that. Any of those guys. I mean, but to kind of take it back to influences a little bit, like it's hard to explain, but I do feel like I was very influenced by those parkour and also skateboarding YouTube channels. And I think a large part of it was how they integrated music into their videos. And it kind of felt like they were like remixing between songs. I think from the very beginning, I've really liked trying to like find a really good song for the video and make it integral. And yeah, those Storer does that really well. And they still are, apparently. I haven't like watched their videos in for a while, but those guys are still killing it.
Did you ever watch Braille?
I don't think so. I don't know what that is.
It was a skateboarding channel, but they would like, people would send them like homemade skateboards, and they did like a skateboard made out of glass, a skateboard made out of a like full size door.
Did they do one with an iPad?
Yes.
I have seen them. Yeah. Yeah. Those are cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Well, that kind of like segues nicely into how I became a better YouTuber. Because my first video was like, the first maker video I did, my first video was actually like on this, like trying to make a YouTube channel, was just me snow blowing my driveway. And literally a time lapse of me snow blowing my driveway. No music. Trying to
hit that Montreal snow clearing jackpot.
Right. It was I think, I want to say 4 feet of snow. Like it was a ridiculous snowfall. Anyways, whatever it was, didn't matter. That was single position, security cam footage, snow blowing my driveway, time lapse, no sound. And I went, okay, I can try and get some sound. And then I was like looking at, and like a big influence to me was Jimmy DiResta. So I tried to make Jimmy DiResta videos, but I realized that I wasn't as good as him. I didn't really like the videos I made afterwards. Because I found like...
Well, it's interesting because like I feel like the allure of his videos is because it's him making them. You have all of Jimmy DiResta's experience and all the knickknacks and tchotchkes in his shop. It wouldn't really work with someone else doing the exact same thing.
It's exactly that. Like that's the problem, is it wasn't as exciting because there wasn't as much going on around it. It's like when you watched my video sped up, like it just wasn't exciting because you could only focus on what I was doing because there's nothing else going on. And I also found that I tried way too much to talk to the video. Like I wanted to explain a little bit about what I was doing, and I talked way too much, and then I would speed up, and then like chipmunk voices were happening all the time, and everyone said like, "What are you doing? This sounds stupid."
It's pretty much like what I've started doing, and I'm actually like really not liking it. So I know what you mean.
Yeah, so then I went...
I just want to go back to that bit. Adam, you don't... you're not liking talking to the camera? Or like...
No, I'm not liking my style of video. So like what I've been doing lately is like talk to the camera, say what I'm about to do, and then like speed up the footage of what I'm like doing, and then come back to the camera, say, all right, I've got this far, this is what I'm going to do now. But I don't know, I'm not liking the style. I kind of copied the style from somewhere else, but it just doesn't work with this sort of video.
Gotcha. I mean, but
which I'll get to after Grant's finished.
Okay, sorry, Grant, go on.
So that then what I found is I was starting to like branch out as I found people like I Like to Make Stuff who put music. And then I found like channels like Pat Lapp who like edited to music. Who's like when you like see like a whole bunch of cuts go with the beats of the music and you just go, wow, that's awesome. And I went, that's what I need. That's where I feel like I can be like creative or try to. I'm not like really good at it like him, but I'm getting like I feel like I'm getting better. So that's who's influenced me. And like Paul Jackman does it like really well with all of everything he does. He's influenced me probably the most. Yeah.
Cool.
So that's who made me kind of a better YouTuber.
Yeah. I don't know. My first like video or few videos I put out was like really had lots of explanation to it, like voiceover of this is what I'm doing and all that sort of stuff. And I don't know. I guess I just didn't. I rather talk to the camera than talk over like a voiceover. So I was trying to find ways to do that, but then I also, I guess, moving on later on, I felt like I talked too much. That's why I started like doing what I do now, which, as I said, I'm not really liking, but I think I've taken a lot of influence of like how I want my video style to be from non-maker channels and trying to like bring that element that people don't do. Cause like, we're always trying to find our own style in a way. So I was like, well, if I take a few styles from non-maker and bring it into the maker scene, it's sort of like makes your own sort of style. But then some things, just won't work that way.
Yeah.
But
well, that's kind of like what I was saying earlier in that, like, we're all kind of like, a lot of us get similar influences, like, and especially when you look at the big names in the maker community, but we all also have like a very particular set of skill sets and non-makery influences, whether it be like a parkour channel or Minecraft videos or whatever. So I feel like inherently, and Jocko's kind of talked about this in when he just started his vlogs out, is like, you'll find what makes your thing. I'm kind of under the impression that it just takes doing. And like Adam, you probably wouldn't have found out that you didn't like what you're doing now if you hadn't tried it to do.
Oh, exactly.
That way.
I think also too, which I did touch on last week. I don't know if it was in the after show or not, but like I started editing the way I do because of how I edit. Like I edit on an iPad, so it's hard to do that sort of harder masking and all that. Like I can't mask around myself and all that sort of stuff and like do tricks and stuff. Like it's pretty much I can cut and speed up and all. Like now I've got the laptop and that I should hopefully be able to do some better videos and better styles and that. But it's like, for instance, take your video you put out today. I watched that and I was watching it thinking, if I made this in my style, it'd be like a 30-second video. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this wood and I'm going to screw it all together. Speed run, done.
Yeah. That's just not how I do it.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's good. But one thing to say is like Vincent Ferrari, when he did his like 30-day, what was that? Made for Makers. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we did the Made for Makers. That 30-day challenge, he was like, I'm going to put out a video every day. That made him like do a lot of work on his video style and what he wanted to do because he was doing one every single day. And I think that's
insane.
I couldn't do it either. But a lot of that is like, you're going to become you're going to find your style by putting out content. So you have to put out content.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's why I keep putting them out.
Yeah. You also have to consume content. Because I think that's like, even if I watch, now that I make videos, I watch videos and I watch
completely
even TV,
different. Yeah.
And I watch it completely different. I think about how they frame shots. And I think, could I do something like that? And what did they do? And how is that camera footage? Like, is it on? It's obviously not on a tripod. It's on some sort of like thing, but they're not zooming digitally like I have to because I don't have a camera person. But I'm like, you can see like when they pan out the difference between a pan digitally and a pan with a camera.
Yeah.
So everything I watch now influences me.
Well, it's 100%. And when I bought my camera and stuff, that was one of my biggest things was, watching all these videos and stuff, and most of the we say big YouTubers, but it's just a good way to put them all in a group. But like, they're all use like a camera with a wide angle lens. You get like the big picture and not just like one little section of where they're working and stuff. And that was when I was looking at buying a camera, I knew I want to get a camera that records 4K and it has to be able to take a wide angle lens.
It's funny.
I don't want to buy
with my style. The wide angle lens is not actually very, it has its places, but probably the majority of my shots are much tighter.
Yeah.
Well, because your space is so small.
Yeah. And it defines my style.
Right.
Well, that's actually like the opposite to me though, because my space is so small. That's why I want a wide angle lens. Because I don't, because I can't put the camera far away where I can get more of a picture.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But like your outside shots, Morley, when you're working outside, you're way further away.
Yeah.
Because you can.
Which is my point.
I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. So like, I mean, I was kind of saying this earlier, it's kind of hard for me to talk about like specific maker influences because I feel like the community is so big and vibrant that it all kind of starts to meld together at a certain point. But one person who was very influential for me and very empowering was Ben Ueda, who we mentioned earlier, because he is working out of a very similar space than me. In his earlier videos, and even now, he's working on the floor with hand tools, working largely with plywood and materials that you don't need traditional woodworking equipment to work with. So like, I don't know if I would have made some of my more like apartment woodworking videos had I not seen his videos. And especially the fountain video. I think what it was like 3 years ago now, or oh my God, I don't even know time anymore. It might've been 2 years. Might have been 1 year.
Just wait till you're our age. Then you really won't know time.
This whole pandemic and growing up. Anyways, I think I made that fountain video right about the time when I was like binging Ben Ueda's videos. And I don't know if I would have made that video in that way had I not seen it. And I think it was the perfect way to make that video, was kind of in his style. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling now just looking back.
It's all good. According to YouTube, it was 2 years ago.
Oh, thank you, Grant.
April 15th, 2018. Okay, whatever.
Do you have dual monitors going?
Yes.
That's not me. That's Adam.
Yeah. What are you doing, Adam? Can you please stop that?
Nothing.
Are you unwrapping a candy?
Oh, bubble wrap. Okay, this is not an ASMR podcast.
Which leads us to
I'm the Jimmy of this podcast.
ASMR videos. No,
right, like something I've noticed. Your videos, you do what like Ben does. You explain as you go, which is great.
Yeah,
that's everyone has their own style. I almost don't explain anything.
Mm-hmm.
I show what's happening. That's how I learn too, though. Like I think everyone has like a little different learning style. So you produce videos that work with the way that you want to be shown things.
Exactly.
It's funny.
I try to make the sort of videos that I would want to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. Like the three of us have like we got Morley on one end who explains everything, Grant on the other end who explains nothing, and then me in the middle who's like a mix. But it's funny. Like we are all our own worst critics. Like I watched Morley's video and enjoyed the whole thing. Like I wasn't bored. I wasn't like, oh, this is just rambling on. But if I was to make that video and watch my own video, I'd be like, what am I doing? This is like way too much.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what So I love Paul Jackman videos. He doesn't talk very much at all, if not anything. I also watch a ton of videos where people speak almost the entire time.
Yeah.
And I love both of them.
Exactly.
And I don't know why like when I produce a video where I try and talk more, I cut everything I say out because I think I'm like horrible.
It's almost like
definitely critics.
I mean, I feel like thinking like that, it's almost like a paradox, because then it's like, well, then how do you figure out how to make a style for a video? So I try to, I mean, I know Grant, you say, or Adam, you said I explain everything, but I really try to like tailor the level of explanation for the project, or else I feel like, well, then where am I coming from? Like I have a couple of videos where I just don't say anything.
I think in my head,
well, that's the thing. I just try to make the edit work for the project. And in my head, there's some sort of logic there.
I think in my head, I constantly think that like the only people who are going to watch my videos are makers. So what's the point of explaining everything to someone that already knows what they're doing? You know, like, I don't know. It's such a hard subject of like, it's such a hard thing to wrap your head around. Like, unless you make videos, you have no idea what we're talking about right now. Like, it's such, it's so weird.
The hardest part is I'm not an expert. So why am I telling you what to do? Here's what I did, and you can just watch.
Which is exactly why I don't make how to make videos. I make this is how I made videos. This is how I made it, not how to make it.
So, okay, back. Let's wrap it around a little bit. Back into more of the influences and less of the like
weeds.
So, less of the weeds on YouTube specific things that no one else will understand.
It wouldn't be a Clamp podcast if we didn't ramble onto something else.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, that's like this is where I kind of go like I feel like my entire upbringing has influenced me. Right? The movies I've liked, the science fiction I've liked has made me do silly like special effects, you know, and like video games and whatever. I feel like everything has influenced me. Yeah, and it's kind of like Ready Player One is a really good example of what has influenced me. So if you're interested in seeing something, well, don't watch the movie, read the book. The movie's great. The book is greater.
Yeah,
the movie is read the book. The movie is garbage compared to the book.
Compared to the book.
Watch the movie. It's amazing. Read the book first and then watch the movie. It's crap.
Yeah.
The movie is not amazing. Okay, even on...
No. That's what I'm saying, though. The movie is amazing if you haven't read the book.
Yeah, that's...
Okay, I agree. I can only come from the perspective of reading the book and then watching the movie, so...
Yeah, same. The book... Well, I know. I watched the movie, then read the book, and I'm reading the book going, why wasn't all this in the movie?
Exactly.
The book
is a story for no reason.
They changed the story. The actual book, if the actual book was made into a movie, I don't mean to ramble on about this whole...
No, this
get away from it again. But like,
we literally.
But if you would, if you were to take the book and turn the literal book into a movie, it would be an amazing movie.
Yep. Yeah.
Why would you get rid of all that?
I have a theory, because I think the writers and director had a bit of an ego thing going, and they wanted to make it their own. Because you're right, the movie is written like a screenplay. It could, but I also think if the book is written like a screenplay. If they correctly translated the book into the movie, it should have been like at least 2 movies, because there's so much there.
Yeah,
I think one
or 3. They could have done 3 because there's 3 rings, for sure, or 3 keys. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. I know.
Yeah.
And
it's just
the fact that
what frustrates me the most. What frustrates me the most is one of my favorite things about the book is the level of world building. And they take so much time and effort to really immerse you in this world. And the movie's just like, nah, let's just start.
Yeah, you read the book and you can picture it. Like, they explain it really well.
Right. Yeah. And usually world building with a video is actually easier, because you don't have to waste as many pages. You can show a single thing that took 5 pages to explain. You know what I mean?
A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Right. And they still screwed that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Come on, Spielberg.
Without the other thing is they had a lot of pressure put on them to be outside of the 80s only references. And I actually, thinking back on it now, actually think that's good. Like, Halo's in there. It makes sense. Because there would have been people who said Halo was the better generation, much like there's people who say 90s are better than 80s and 2000s are better than 90s or better than 80s. You know what I mean? There's people who think their decade is the best decade. So there's going to be a bunch of Master Chiefs running around going, I'm better than you.
But we all know 90s is the best.
80s is the best? When were you born?
89.
Yeah. Okay, 80s is the best.
Yeah.
I was born in the 80s, but it's still the best.
Morley's like, what are you talking about? The 2000s for sure.
I think he's thinking like maybe the 2010s.
Right now, it'd be pretty great if there wasn't a global pandemic.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Anyway, back to the topic. No, I also wanted to, like, I know we wanted to talk about like our movie video style and that sort of stuff, but also wanted to like talk about a little bit about like how we got into making to begin with. Mm-hmm. I actually don't, like, I was thinking about it. I don't actually really know where it came from. I guess I was just like born with it, if you know what I mean. Like growing up, I always like would pull old VCRs apart. Morley probably doesn't know what a VCR is, but
yes, I do.
Pulled old VCRs apart and all that sort of stuff. And then, got into school and I don't know, I just somehow got into woodworking. I don't actually know what got me started, but like going through high school, once I got to year 10 where I can choose my, my classes, 5 out of 6 of my classes were woodworking.
Wow. It's funny. I actually didn't really love shop class in middle school and high school. Like it was fine, but I wasn't like craving it or really excited by it. And I think it was maybe like just because it wasn't on my own terms. And I think if it was just a different teacher, just differently structured, I would have liked it a lot more. Like I really liked woodworking at camp, but even that was a little, I don't know. It's kind of the same reason why like maker spaces I think are fantastic, but I always would prefer to like do it on my own. I think I just kind of like the empowerment of like making on my own terms and kind of like the individualism. It seems silly and it's very irrational, but I like the idea of like being able to do it all on my own.
Well,
I know what you mean.
It's the reason I buy tools instead of renting them.
Exactly.
Right. I'm going to buy this tool for $100. I could rent it for $5. But I might use it 20 times, so I should and then I buy it and I use it once.
Like I'm the same. I would always rather buy over rent. And like to kind of tie it into influences a little, I think that kind of dovetails into one of the shows I loved as a kid, which was Survivor Man on the Discovery Channel. Like I used to love survival stuff as a kid. So Les Stroud, Ontarian, would go into the wilderness for a week and survive in some random location.
He during the pandemic he put out new videos, eh?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you should look him up, Les Stroud, on like YouTube. He put out a bunch of new videos. The first couple were comedies and they're great.
That's awesome.
And then he stopped popping up in my feed, so I don't know if he kept putting out stuff, but yeah. I mean, say what you will about growing up in your respective decades, but I feel like I grew up in like the golden age of the Discovery Channel. Like, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Survivor Man, Deadliest Catch, Mythbusters. They were all like and How It's Made. Oh my God. Like all of those shows, fantastic. And were like massive influences on me.
Since you brought it up, we did want to quickly mention about Mythbusters and how like devastated and stuff we are about Grant.
It's very
Imahara. It's like I think it was 2 days ago, and it really actually hit me pretty hard. Like I didn't think it would. I mean, there's only 2 people, like 2 celebrities that have passed away that have really hit me hard, and I think Grant was definitely one of them. Mythbusters to me was like a huge part of my growing up and like getting into not making, but like the actual like aspect of that world, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. Like just the creativity and fun and it's like hard to put in words. It's just like such a great show.
It is. It's very hard to put in words. Like even to this day, I still watch Adam Savage on YouTube. Yeah. I honestly have no idea what Jamie's doing, but and funny thing about Mythbusters. So like when it first started, when it was just Adam and Jamie, I like was obsessed with it, and so my name's Adam. My brother's name's Jamie.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah,
that's so funny.
And my wife's name's Jamie Lee.
Before we started recording, I was actually listening to. I don't know if you guys listen to Still Untitled, the Adam Savage Project. It's
I've never listened to it, but I've always wanted to. It's
really good. I'm not like a consistent listener, but they're always really good when I listen to them. It's Adam, Norm, and Will who are. It's Adam Savage is tested, and then Norm and Will are.
I think the name kind of threw me off at first because I was like, do I want to listen to something that doesn't like? It seems like I know they've kept the name for so long, but like if it's still untitled, like how much effort do you like? How much of it like actual show is it?
Well, it's part of the joke right now.
I know, I get that now, but when I first discovered it,
8 years going, I learned today.
Wow.
But it's really centered around like Adam Savage's energy and passions, and they talk about all sorts of stuff like projects and life advice. And first of all, I'd recommend it. It's pretty solid. And the most recent episode was just Adam and Norm kind of like reflecting on Grant, and just stories from his life. And it was really interesting to hear about, because I think like probably a lot of us, like most of my exposure to Grant Imahara was through Mythbusters. I didn't really watch BattleBots.
Yeah. I didn't watch BattleBots, but I watched a lot of White Rabbit Project.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen that either.
Yeah.
Sorry. I may or may not sneeze in the next 5 seconds. But it was really interesting hearing about, some of this. This isn't fun, but I actually don't know if I'm about to sneeze or not.
I hate that feeling.
You can see it on your face. Your face looks like you're about to sneeze while you're trying to talk about this very serious subject about someone who's like just passed away, and you're like,
"Oh my gosh,
I'm about to sneeze." It's like, oh.
Anyways, it's a good episode. It sounds like Grant was like a super stand-up guy, just brought positivity to everyone around him, and just an incredible artist and engineer. He was like Adam was saying, he was the only trained engineer on Mythbusters.
I believe it.
So, for me, obviously, my name's Grant, and whenever I saw someone else with my name, growing up, I was the only Grant in my school. I was the only Grant in my high school. I was like the only thing that I had was Grant Hill, and he drank Sprite, and I like 7-Up, so it didn't work out for us. But like literally, like there was no Grant. So when I saw this guy making things on Mythbusters as I was growing up, I was just like, "This is awesome." And so it totally had an effect on me as well. And I don't know. I just was it's a very sad thing, that now it's like 2 Mythbusters alumni are gone.
Jesse Coombs as well.
Yeah.
Coombs?
Yeah, because I used to watch Jesse. Yeah, I used to watch her on like all the car channel. Like she worked on like trucks or something. I can't remember which one it was, but like during the Saturday mornings, me and my dad would watch the car fixing up channels. It was just like a string of them like fixing cars all morning long. That's probably actually more influential on my video than my video style than anything else, was watching all those growing up. It was like all those TV shows, torque to a certain Newton meter, and it's like, why are you even telling me this? But
well, I mean, think how much relative time you spent as a kid watching TV compared to the little spurts you get now, like watching YouTube.
Yeah, it's so different.
Anyways, very sad, and I know we're feeling that. Well, why don't we move on to the next segment of the episode, our Clampmendations for today. Adam, would you like to start us out?
I guess so. No, actually, I just changed mine because I had something else. But have you guys ever seen the TV show Impractical Jokers?
Yes.
It is amazing. If you haven't watched it, I highly suggest you go watch it because it is amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I should give you the premise of the show. So there's 4 guys that know each other from high school. They wear hidden earpieces and they go out in public and the other 3 tell them what they have to do. Whoever loses, like, so that if they don't do it, they get a mark for not doing it. Whoever has the most marks at the end gets punished at the end of the episode. And like, it's not the typical hidden camera show like you would think. It's like the opposite of what. So instead of pranking people, it's sort of them like being in uncomfortable positions and like pranking themselves in front of people and seeing how those people react. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you just have to watch it and you'll literally be hooked. It is like probably my favorite TV show pretty much ever. Like no matter how many reruns I watch of it, I'm laughing in hysterics every time. It's
cool.
So some people say I look like one of these guys. But like obviously with the beard, you don't see it as much. But
maybe Sal.
I'm just trying to look up the names of these people, but it's really difficult to find a picture.
Joe Gatto, Sal. I can never pronounce his last name. James Murray and Q. What's Q's name?
All right. Well, while Grant tries to find a picture of him.
Yes, Sal. That's Sal. Sal is the one. Sorry, I finally found the name. Yeah, some people they take me often and say this guy looks like me. And I go, I don't see it, but other people do. And it's probably like, less beard, more smiling. Doesn't happen much.
I love the punishments they do. They're pretty funny. Yeah. They say I won't keep going on, but Mur lost an episode, so they took him to a barber. They shaved off his eyebrows, shaved his head, and then made him go get a new passport for a new license photo, which lasts 10 years.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, what about you, Grant? What is your Clampmendation?
For me this week, it's going to be Flippin' Rejects, which I think is like an awesome name for a channel. But anyways,
I was just going to say
guy, he takes like things that are rejected and flips them into something more fun and interesting. And he entered the Because We Make Enlightenment challenge with his phone lamp. So it's a 1980s rotary phone, which, Morley, you've never used a rotary phone, have you?
I have once. Like I played with them?
Like in a museum?
No. I've made a call from one.
Okay. Like, what I always thought was crazy is how long it takes. And I always think in the UK, their 911 is 999. And I go, that's ridiculous. That would take forever.
Making more dangerous situations.
Right.
Is the 0 at the beginning or the end?
The end.
Is it 01? So it's 90.
Yeah.
Okay, well 911 here is 000.
That's even worse.
Exactly.
Why would they do? Well, I guess it's like you if you are calling it, it's an emergency. You did not screw up somehow in doing it. But that's why they put the 9s in there.
Just quickly before you go on, how we're talking about how things influence us. As American TV and everything has influenced Australia and stuff so much that they actually have made 911 work in Australia.
Makes sense. Especially if in America and Australia and something happens.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
Come on now, Morley. They should learn what the code is.
You're right.
Classic
American thinking the world revolves around them.
Exactly. Anyways, he made a phone that one, it uses the handset as the lights, and 2, in order to actually have the phone light up, you have to dial Jenny, and you have to watch the video or be over 30 to know what it is.
That sounds like an escape room invention.
Yes, it is exactly like that, and I think that's awesome. More people have said that on his comments that I've seen.
I really hope that I watch this video and just realize halfway through what Jenny is and go, wow, how did I not pick that up?
All right.
Sweet. I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right. My clammendation for the week.
And sorry. And the last thing to say about the video, I mentioned in it. So if you want to be in my clammendation, you gotta mention it.
Yeah, now we know.
Yeah.
Give him a little something.
Yeah.
So I've been down a bit of a rabbit hole this week of a comedian that I used to watch a lot of his stuff, but kind of have not for a while. So this guy from Massachusetts, from my neck of the woods, Chris Fleming, is a hilarious comedian. He's most well known for a web series he did a few years ago, actually 8 years ago now, looking at the YouTube channel, called Gale, where he plays a very intense, over-the-top, like suburban housewife. He had a video go viral where it's called like Company is Coming, and he's just like preparing the house for company to come and yelling at the whole family. But he's an amazing comedian who clearly comes from like a very strong improv background. He's incredible. Like he'll make you laugh at like cultural comments that you never even knew were a thing before. Just check out his YouTube channel. He's a big one. I think he already is kind of like blowing up in the grand scheme of things. He's like YouTube channel's like 400,000 subscribers, but
that's pretty good.
I would not be surprised if he gets a Netflix special in the next few years.
Nice.
Yeah. So I messed up the order of the order of things. So I was supposed to mention our Patreon before this, but I can't read apparently. And people keep moving things around the Google Doc. But I want to give a big shout out to Leroy from Big Rock Timberworks, who is our first top tier Patreon supporter at the F-Clamp level. So thank you so much, Leroy. We hope you enjoy the after show. And if you support us on Patreon at any level, you'll get access to our after show where we will talk about the cultural differences between Australia, the US, and Canada, and other exciting things that may or may not have anything to do with making or creating and living. It's a fun time. So
the pre-show for this episode, we talked about alcohol if you're interested in that.
Yeah, maybe last one as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, big shout out to everyone over there. We really appreciate you. It's a very wonderful thing. Yeah. All right. Okay. Next segment. I'm very excited.
So before you go into the reading reviews,
yes.
So you do the accents.
So, I was going to.
So I just wanted to let you know where Eve is from.
Oh,
okay. Where is he from?
So I'm gonna go look that up while you read the first one. I think he's from
Belgium.
Belgium.
Oh,
but,
no.
Okay.
Okay, well that's basically a French accent. I can do that.
Yeah, but it's not a French accent. You got to learn it.
Let me just quickly
better.
Well, I've seen In Bruges. That's most of what I know about Belgium.
His review was left on Belgium iTunes, so I say Belgium.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, our first review is by the man Andy Pugh, and I know what Andy sounds like because I've talked to him a bunch. So this will probably be one of our more accurate accents. And I've practiced this. I was actually watching one of his videos beforehand to get a little workout in.
Oh, that's awesome.
So the title of this review is It's Not BWM. Hopefully the title of this review got your attention. Oh, Andy's, I think, was born in Wales, lives in England. So I don't know, he's that Welsh. I don't know.
I was going to say, he's not from Australia.
No, he's from the UK.
What's BWM?
Because we make.
Ah, thank you.
Oh, I was confused by that too.
I knew what it was, but I could tell that Adam didn't know.
All right, Peanut Gallery.
I was like, someone misspelled BMW.
I'll spell out the acronyms. It's not because we make. Actually, that was bad. That was more Australian.
That's what I said. You said Australian.
Hopefully the Talos review got your attention. A great chat to listen to from makers from two continents. Not just chat about making, but also the everyday. I like the idea of relating makers to outdoors people. Oh, this is hard with headphones on. I need to take these off. Don't say anything because I got my headphones on top of my head. I like the idea of relating makers to outdoors people. It's not a connection that I thought about before, but now that I think about it, It's not uncommon in my experience. I wonder, though, if there are certain types of makers that are more likely to like the outdoors than others. Keep this going. It's good to listen to. Cheers, Andy Pugh. Maybe I was more accurate in his cadence than his accent in that, but
yeah, that was good. I liked it. All right, let's hear your Belgian accent.
Oh, okay. All right, need like a little warm up. Yves.
I wouldn't even know what a Belgian accent is.
Is it pronounced Yves?
No, it's Eve.
Okay. Eve from Projects and Things. This might come across like offensive, but I'm just going to go for it. Here we go. Podcasts, just like TV shows or YouTube videos, slowly tend to resemble your own life. Hey, man, you asked.
He doesn't have that strong of an accent. Little, like, dial it back.
Since we look for people that talk about things we like, do things we also do, or things we want to do. And this podcast is like looking in a mirror. Young makers talking about all the trials and tribulations of content creation as a hobby/passion. I fall in the same category, and therefore I am hooked. Sincerely, Yves from Projects and Things.
That's perfect. That was much better. Like after you dialed it back, it was perfect.
Okay, yeah. See, it took Andy for me to warm up a little bit, but we got there. Thanks, Yves, and thanks, Andy, for that review. Sorry for butchering your accent.
I think that only you should do every single review from now on, based on where the people have submitted their review from. I think that it should be the Morley reads reviews section of the podcast. I love it.
I like it.
So
it'll further my career as a impersonator. All right, gentlemen. Is there any other business?
No. Don't think so.
All right. Well, where can people find you, Adam, if they want to?
Mainly just go to makeamaki.com and I have links to all my socials on there.
Grant?
Well, you can find me at thegrantalexander.com, but it's just a replication of my Instagram feed, so you should just go there instead. Or go on YouTube or Facebook, or even I have a TikTok, but I don't have a Twitter. So, yeah.
All right. And you can find me everywhere under Morley Kurt, MorleyKert, including Twitter and including TikTok, because I'm hip with the kids. All right, guys. Well, this has been great. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
I've been waiting for you to get here so I can do this.
It's exactly 9 o'clock.
No, we were having a really fun... is it beer?
It's 11 a.m.
Oh, Canadian Club. Wait, is that whiskey?
But...
Or is that just ginger ale? What is that?
It's whiskey.
Canned whiskey, wow.
Well, it's not.
You don't know what Canadian Club is?
Yeah, no, I know what Canadian Club is. It just doesn't come in a can here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we get it... So we can get it with cola or dry, which is like with I think dry is like a ginger ale or something.
Oh, interesting.